Hello. I am C, part-time reference librarian here at the library. My pronouns are they, them. And this is Baking from Books. If you didn't see the videos back in June, you might not know that this is a video series where I, reference librarian, attempt to make desserts and baked goods inspired by books. Today I am filming in the library. Bonus points to you if you know where this is. So there's no oven here, so this is going to be a little less baking from books as much as tasty desserts from books, but the principle is the same because there's still recipe interpretation and things that I can muddle my way through. So the principle is the same, hopefully still a fun time. Today I picked a very easy recipe to honor a really amazing book, Beartown by Fredrik Backman. If you haven't read this is what the library copy looks like. Fredrik Backman is a really skillful writer at combining like dry humor with deeply emotional character development and just stunning plot twists. So he makes you laugh and he gets you really invested in the characters, and then he just builds to this stunning climax that breaks your heart but ultimately leaves you feeling hopeful and hopefully wiser, and he really understands what it is to be a person and how hard it can be and the kind of things that we have to do to find our way in the world. So his books are really powerful for that reason. In Beartown, Beartown is actually a town. It's this struggling small town in this Swedish forest, and their only joy is their kids' hockey team. Like high school boys-ish hockey team. And the whole town and the whole team has to face the trauma and the consequences of sexual assault when the team's star player, Kevin, rapes the team manager's daughter, Maya, at a party. And everybody in town has to decide whose side they're on and how they're going to deal with it going forward, considering that Kevin was the team's only chance of winning the state finals. So that includes Kevin's best friend, Benji, best friend since childhood, and now he has to decide what kind of friend he is and how he feels about this boy he loves that he's done an awful thing. And Benji's also dealing with his anger issues, legacies of trauma in his family, and his sexuality. And Maya's best friend, Anna, they don't have much in common anymore, but they're still best friends, and she has to decide how far she's willing to go to support her friend as Maya searches for some kind of justice out of this situation. It's a breathtaking book. If you haven't read it and its sequel, Us Against You, I really recommend you check that out. Now, because hockey is so important in this book, the recipe we're going to make today is chocolate hockey pucks, which is just, where can you go wrong with that? It's completely delicious, and it's relatively easy, so there's not too much I can mess up. So let's see how we do. Now, in chocolate hockey pucks, what you only need like 4 ingredients, which is great. You need an equal number of sandwich cookies like Oreos. I have 24 here, because you need an equal number of Oreos and chocolate peanut butter cups such as Reese's, and I have Reese's, and the recipe calls for 16, but I couldn't get exactly 16, so I have 24, and I'm just going to make all 24 of them. And you also need 1 12-ounce bag of semi-sweet chocolate chips, I have that here, and 2 tablespoons of shortening. I have Crisco shortening. It looks completely disgusting, but I have practiced this recipe, and it is helpful to have that, so I'm going to stick with it. And then you need a baking sheet lined with wax paper. Of course, I don't have wax paper, and I'm not going to go out and buy it just for this. So I'm using foil, which I've done in the past, and it usually works fine. So I'm going to use foil, and that's everything you need. Now, I'm wearing gloves because I would love to share these with my coworkers when I get all done, and there's a lot of touch the food with your hands in this recipe. It says, like, the first thing you do is you take the sandwich cookie and you split it apart, leaving as much filling on one side as possible. And it says to do this with a paring knife. I feel like I would just cut the cookie in half, So when I practiced, I did it with my hands, and so I'm going to do that again, but I'm wearing gloves to make it as food safe as possible so I can share these with coworkers afterwards. So it's just kind of a twisting motion for me. Oh, look at that. It came off really cleanly. So you're going to do that and twist them all open and lay them out on the plate. I don't really have enough plates for this, so I'm going to use the baking sheet and just lay them out. And so you get all the sandwich cookies opened and separated, trying to get as much filling as possible on one side of the cookie. Okay, so you split all the cookies apart, trying to leave all the filling on one side. I have now done that, and it went about as badly as you'd expect. So some of them have all the filling on one side of the cookie, but more often they don't. And some of the cookies broke, but from my practice, I don't think that matters a ton. You just have to be a little more delicate with those, which, good luck. So then you take your separated cookie and you take one of the peanut butter cups, and this is the part that makes me laugh. Place one peanut butter cup on the filling side of each cookie, cover with remaining cookie top. I don't understand if they mean place it with the smaller end on the filling or the bigger side on the filling. I'm assuming they mean place it like face down on the filling side and then cover it with the remaining cookie top, making just a really big Oreo like that. And then again, you repeat it for all the cookies. So I'm going to pause so you don't have to watch me do that. Fun as it is, if you watch the June videos, fun as it is to watch me struggle with packaging, I'm just going to skip ahead all of that for you, okay? All right. The gloves make it a little hard to start and stop the videos, so I apologize that I don't have glamorous transitions. Haha! So, once you've gotten all of the cookie sandwiches remade with the Reese's in the middle, looks like this, then you put them in the microwave, which I have over here. You put them in the microwave for about 5 seconds until the chocolate is softened. The idea is you're trying to get it to stick together as a sandwich so it doesn't just fall apart when you try and do something else with it. Alright, so you run it through the microwave for 5 seconds, and then you squish it to try and get it to stay together. And this is usually the part where I break the top cookie pushing on it, so don't push too hard. I've already broken one of them, more than it was already broken. And I'm not sure 5 seconds is really enough to get the chocolate to start softening. It did say that room temperature peanut butter cups work better, so it kind of depends on how much softening you really want to see at this step. I'm going to run the other step through for like 7 seconds and see if that makes a difference. Alright, not really a difference. So you take your second set and then push it together so the sandwiches stick together. Ish. Broke another one. Okay. Next step is, frankly, the fun part. You take your chocolate chips and you empty them into a microwave-safe bowl and you put the shortening in with it, and then you microwave it, and it says to do it for 1 minute, and then in like 30-second bursts until all the chocolate is melted and smooth. So, I'm going to skip ahead to the part where it's melted, because I don't know how long this is going to take. Alright. Unfortunately, you missed me spilling a bunch of chocolate chips all over the place, and then discovering that I hadn't brought any hot pads in here with me, and when you microwave a bowl, it gets very hot, so unfortunately you missed that part, but at least we all know that I'm still the same kind of dessert maker that I was in the previous videos. So, it's very hot, but the melted chocolate is all smooth. Once you've got it all smooth and melted, then you take each cookie and you dip it in the melted chocolate, And you're supposed to let the excess drip off, but I also don't have any of those cooling racks that you can set them on so it drips. So we're just going to let it make a puddle around itself on the baking sheet, which is right here. Yes. So, this is the part that gets a little weird, and the reason I'm wearing gloves is you take each cookie and then you dip it in the melted chocolate, and you kind of just have to hold it and dip it in and try and get it all covered all around, front and back. And it's hard to do, and you kind of get chocolate all over yourself. So I do recommend that you do this when you're prepared to get messy or when you have gloves, like me. So you kind of have to turn it around, do a little spin with it to try and get it coated on all sides. You're still liable to make a mess a little bit. Okay, and then set it on your baking sheet. And the next step is cover any fingerprints with more melted chocolate, because you do have to hold it, and you'd like there to be a smooth chocolate coating all around it. Watch me trying not to burn my hands on this very hot bowl. So I just use a spoon, take some more melted chocolate, and then drizzle it over the top, and I count that as covering the fingerprints. And smooth it off there. Okay. There we go. So that's one, and it takes a little time, and it does make a mess, but you, wow, that really makes a mess. Imagine if I didn't have gloves on, chocolate everywhere. So I'm going to pause again, skip ahead to when I've got them all covered up, and I will show you what they all look like. I'll do one more because I'm not sure I showed that very well. It's kind of hard to do. All right, take it, burn the heck out of my hand, dip it in there, and then spin it and dip the other side. I almost lost it in the chocolate. And then you set it on the baking sheet and make sure you've covered all your finger spots. There we go. Alright, and repeat. Since I have 24, I'm not going to make you watch me dip all 24 of them, and I will show you what comes next. Okay. I made a huge mess, but I got them all done. I'm just keeping the gloves for a second to show you. It got chocolate everywhere. So if you were doing this without gloves on, you'd get the fun of, licking it off. But in this case, I'm just going to try and get them off nicely. Okay. So, this is roughly what they look like. They're all covered in melted chocolate. They're all arranged on the baking sheet. You don't need a ton of space, I don't think, because then you just put them in the freezer for 30 minutes at least. It can be longer than that, but at least 30 minutes will get the chocolate all hardened all around the outside. So I'm going to put them in here, and then I will come back and show you what they look like when they are all the way done. So we'll stick this right in the freezer. And give that 30 minutes. And that's really all there is to it, which is why it's such a great recipe. You could easily make a batch of these and then sit down and read Beartown, and that would be such a great pairing. So, we'll see you in a few minutes to show you the final result. We're back. It's been a little more than 30 minutes because I had some other things to do, but they're all finished. So, this is what they look like when they're all done. They're all hard, and I will touch one of them just to show that they peel right off the foil, even though I didn't spray it with nonstick this time. And so it does. It looks like a little hockey puck that would be good for ice hockey. And so they're very tasty. They're not that hard to do. So if you try this recipe, of course, let us know your results. Share any tips that you have on how this could be made easier, maybe less messy. I would love some tips from you on how to do this so you don't get chocolate absolutely everywhere. Not that that's a hardship. So, and of course, if you make this, if you like it, share your results, and we'll be glad to hear from you. And stay tuned on our website and on our social media for more exciting programs coming soon. There will be more of these videos coming up in the coming weeks, so tune back in on Saturday mornings and see if we've got a new video for you. So, as always, happy reading, happy baking.